In problem 4.61, we'll first draw this base plate in top, and then we'll use the 3-point center rectangle to create this inclined part. So start sketching on top plane. Use center point rectangle for the base plate whose dimension is 100 by 100. Now let's apply fillet of 15. Let's also add the circles whose diameter is 10. Similarly, let's repeat the circle. Or you can create a pattern, but better option is just go and create the circle and make them equal. Now let's extrude by 20. Now on the top surface, let's begin sketching. This time I will use this 3-point center rectangle. So this is our first point, second point, and third point. Now let's give the dimensions. This is going to be 64 and this is going to be, and this is going to be 57. Along with that, the angle is given that this angle, so click this line, end point, and this arrow, and this is at 45 degree. So now let's extrude. So extrusion height is 50. Now let's create V cut over here. So let's first draw center line. Line command. Now let's make them symmetric about center line. Similarly, these two inclined line. Now let's add dimension between them. From here to here it is 20. And from this surface to this is 6. Now shortcut key and extrude cut. Instead of blind, let's select through all and make sure this small arrow is pointing inward. That indicate this material will be removed. Now let's try to create chamfer. And chamfer is given 25, 45 degree. So select this edge and this edge. Because it is 45, you do not have to worry about the distance from the edges. Now let's drop the circle over here, whose diameter is 16. It is located from the bottom at 32. And from this front side, it is also located at same distance, 32. Now let's create cut. Now let's add the final bottom cut. So let's use corner rectangle, whose dimension is as given as 6 and 25. Now select midpoint and this origin and make them coincident to fix the sketch. Now let's extrude cut through all, click OK. Now let's measure the volume. It is completely mismatched with the given answer. So let's find what is error. So let's close this and inspect from the sketch by sketch. So it is 100 by 100. This is perfect. Now here it is 6457, but if you look at very carefully, the 64 is across the slot, so this is going to be 64. So let's say 64, and this part is 57. Let's rebuild, and again let's measure the volume. Now it is okay, 273332, which is very close to 273578. If you divide this answer with the given solution, it's going to be less than 1%. So the model is correct. Now in practice problem 4.6, we begin sketching on right plane. We'll extrude it. Then in the mid plane, we are going to create this part. And from the top, we are going to remove this material. So start sketching on a right plane. Let's create, this is 540. This upward line is of 800. So from here it is like this. Move downward and complete the sketch. So overall dimension is given as 300. This line 200, and this is of 100. And this line is of 150 as given in a top view. Let's also add the part of a step over here. So let's start. So there are 3 rise and 3 fall. And here it is clearly written, each step is of 50. So if this is 50, then select this line, and this line and make them equal. Second, the fall is of 80. So let's give dimension 80 over here. So select this, and this, and make them equal. Now let's extrude. First, we are going to extrude this base shape, and at the mid plane, having width of 1000. Now expand same sketch and click on extrude to create extrusion of this top part. But the end condition is given 300. So we need to select offset from surface. So this surface we need to add 300. Similarly on direction to same offset 300. But we need to select offset from surface and this surface. Now open the sketch on this surface and start sketching rectangle. Align this surface with this. Now let's apply dimensions. So this is 700 as given in top view. Now right click, select midpoint and select this origin, make them vertical. Now let's create extrude cut. Now this time up to surface we have to choose this surface. Now again expand same sketch and click on extrude cut. Instead of blind, select mid plane, but this time we'll choose this region. Here the cut of steps is of 500. Now let's measure the volume. So it is a complete match with the solution answer. Now in problem 4.63, we'll draw this sketch first. and we'll extrude it. Then we'll remove this material, and on the same surface we are going to draw a center point rectangle with the coincident point as given. We'll extrude it, and from the top we are going to remove this material. So start sketch on front plane. Use line command. This is going to be of 85. Horizontality is 75 here, and joint over here. Now give the dimensions of this bottom lies 150. Now let's extrude by the depth of 32. Now let's add the cut on the surface. So let's first draw center line, so we can mirror the upper half part. Now let's give dimensions. So from here to here it is 40. It is diametral dimensions, and this is 60. Press escape to come out from diametral dimensions, and this is 16. Now no further information is given, so we assume that this is 32 and this is 16. So this is going to be in center. So right click, select the midpoint, and select this midpoint and make them vertical. Now let's mirror this entire things. So select this one, click on mirror, and select this line and right click. Now drag this and drop over here. So press S shortcut key and extrude cut. Instead, let's select through all. Now make sure the small arrow is pointed inward because we want to remove this material. So let's click OK. Now let's use 3-point rectangle tool to create the incline rectangle. Now let's give the dimensions. Here thickness is 10. Second, as given that right click, select midpoint, and these are coincident. Second, let's add the angle value between this and this. It is going to be 9. Now let's extrude by 40. Now on the top of this surface, let's create the chamfer by using normal concept of lines. Now let's add dimensions. This is of 30. This is of 25. And angle between them is 45. Now shortcut key and cut the material. Make sure this small arrow is pointing outward, so it will remove this material. Now let's create hole over here whose diameter is 20. Now it is located from this edge at 20, and from this corner it is 50. So press S key to invoke the shortcut menu and select the extrude cut. Now let's measure the volume. It is 261016, which is 100% correct answer. In problem 4.64, we begin from the top view. We'll extrude by 39, then we'll remove using the sketch the different part of material. So click on top plane and start new sketch. Here I will use corner rectangle whose dimension is 64. Press tab key and 86. Press F to zoom to fit. Let's add the possible sketch lines. So this is of 14. Its center is located from the bottom at 26, and from the left it is located at 46. Now let's also draw lines over here. Now let's add angle. This is going to be 40. And from here to here it is 32. And vertically it is 12. Now let's add one more line. This line and this line are parallel. Second, distance from this corner given as 80. Let's extrude the sketch by 39. Now let's start using same sketch, but this time we are going to remove the material. So first we are going to use this region, but its starting condition is this from the top. And it is removing the material by a blind thickness of 18 as given in side view. Okay, let's add it again and add the region. Again, let's use same sketch, and again this time extrude cut. Select this region, but its starting condition is this top surface and blind thickness as given is 9. So this is how we have to use the from and starting condition of extrude feature. Let's apply the chamfer. So chamfer is given by 24 by 25 degree. Please read carefully. So here I have to select this edge and make sure this pointing arrow indicate the distance, and from here it is 25 degree. So this is correct. Now let's add a bottom part. So select the rectangle tool. Here it is 7. And let's assume just for drawing purpose only, and let's remove this. Now from here to here it is 31. Same from here to here it is 25. Now press S key for shortcut key and extrude. Now reverse it. This time let's select up to surface. So this will be the condition. Now let's measure the volume. It is 157479, which is very close to the given answer, which is 156472. When you divide with this answer, you will get a result deviation less than 1%. So this answer is correct. Problem 4.65, which is very simple. We'll begin in front from this side and we'll extrude by 40. We'll drop this semicircular cut and these two holes to create sketch on front plane. This time I will use midpoint line. Now let's use center point arc. Now let's provide the dimensions. So overall dimension is 90, 35. Diameter is 25, so it is going to be 12.5. So right click, display as diameter. Now let's extrude. Not, it's up to mid plane and the depth is 40. Now click on this surface. Again, let's draw center point arc. Now let's give the radius again 12.5. So select this and display as diameter. Now shortcut key, extrude cut. Make sure it is pointing in the right direction. Right click and select through all and right click. Now let's add 2 holes at bottom. So the diameter is 10. Both should be horizontal. Let's add a center line. And let's add diameter dimensions as 64. Select this, create mirror and shortcut key and extrude cut. Control 7. Now let's measure the volume. So it is 90519, which is correct. In 4.66, we'll use this top view sketch first. Then we'll remove this material. And from the side, we are going to remove this material. And finally, we are going to drop this slot. So start sketching on top plane. Let's use midpoint line. Select midpoint and this, make them vertical. Now overall dimension is 84. This is 8. This is 25. And from here to here it is 35. Now let's make these two lines collinear. Now let's extrude this. Instead of midplane, it is going to be 71. Now on this front surface, let's create a sketch to remove the end material. So for that, let's draw center line. Now let's add dimensions. So from here to here it is 33. And from this to this is given as 51. Now this to this is 35. And from here to this as 18. Now let's select these 3 lines. Click on mirror. Select the mirror line. Now let's go to feature and click on extrude cut. Now the end condition will be through all and this small arrow which is pointing outward, that means this material will be removed. Now let's add chamfer, which is 15 by 35. So 15 by 35 degree. So select this front face and make sure the purple arrow is pointing in a right direction. At present it is wrong. So click this arrow. So this is going to be 15 and from it is going to be 35. Now on a right plane, start sketching again and draw the rectangle. Here width is given is 12 in top view and the height is 37 and from bottom it is 10. Press S for shortcut key and select extrude cut. Right click throughout both direction. Now let's remove the material through slot. Here choose this slot and draw like this. Now add the dimensions. So center distance is 21. This is located from bottom at 39 and distance between two vertical lines is 8. Press S key and remove the material. So model is completed. Now let's measure the volume. So volume is 104, 107. In practice problem 4.67, we'll draw the sketch in front and then we'll extrude one by one. So start sketch on front plane. Use rectangle tool. The vertical height is 95. Press tab and horizontal is 100. Now I will use this side as a construction line and then complete the geometry and make them perpendicular. I will select this midpoint and this point and make them horizontal. Similarly, I will draw a circle over here whose diameter is 12, which is located from here at 20. Now it should be aligned with the midpoint. Now let's draw one more. Let's make them perpendicular and also align with this midpoint. Now let's add radius of 5. Now press S key, shortcut, and use extrude. Right click midplane, select this region, this region. Now overall depth is 25. Expand the sketch, select the same and click on extrude cut. Let's clear the region. So depth is okay and let's click up. Let's measure the volume. So it is 118352, which is correct answer. In 4.68, in a front plane, we are going to create these extrusions, and from the side, we are going to add these small extrusions to complete the part. So create sketch on front plane. Start the line command, which is of 450. Then go up, draw a line like this. And complete the sketch. Now let's add dimensions. So from here to here it is 35. And this line is having 140 length. This is of 100. This is also of 100. This is going to be of 25. Now let's add angle between these two is 48. And these are parallel line or T. Let's make them collinear. So select the line and make them collinear. Also from here to here, this corner is at exactly 1 to 7. And this depth is given as 20. So this line and this line need to be equal. Now press S shortcut key and extrude. So the extrusion depth is 75. Now let's add the bottom extrusion over here. For that, let's use line command. So select midpoint, select this origin, vertically align, again select midpoint and this origin coincident. Now let's provide the overall dimensions. So this is 10, 45. This is also 10. But this line and this line need to be equal. And also this is going to be of 25. Now let's extrude. But this time it is going to be blind and in this direction. And it is 430. Now let's measure the volume. So it is 1249750, which is correct answer. In practice problem 4.69, we'll draw this in top and we'll extrude. Now we'll try two methods. We simply draw one line and remove the material, and we'll also try to use the draft feature to get the same answer. So start sketch on top, use the polygon tool, add the diameter. Here we need to make any one of the side vertical. Press extrude and the depth is 40. Now let's draw geometry on front plane. Here we'll use simple line and we'll add angle between line and top edge at 25 degree. Press S key and use, and here we need to use both sides. Make sure the small arrow is pointing in right direction, so this material will be removed. Now let's measure the volume. So volume is 11120, which is a correct answer. Now let's roll back and this time use the draft feature. So click on draft, we'll go for manual and in neutral plane. So we have to use this first option. So we keep this face as a neutral and the draft face will be this. And make sure this angle arrow is pointed in this direction. Now let's add this angle and let's make sure preview is okay. So it is correct and let's click OK. And let's measure the volume. So it's the same answer. So sometimes as per the given geometry, we can use different tools to achieve the same result. Problem 4.70, we're going to create hexagon shape in top and we'll extrude, and from the front we are going to create this sketch and remove the material. So click on top and create sketch. Go use an polygon tool. Diameter is 19 and make sure any of the side is horizontal and click on extrude and it is 51. Now let's either on a front or you can create on this front surface. So here let's use this corner and like this. So from here to here it is 10. From here to this corner is at 8. And from this to this at 7. I'm not going to close this of a sketch, press As key, and again obviously it is correct, so it is through all, and small arrow is pointing in right direction, so this material will be removed. Now let's measure the volume. So answer is 15141, which is completely correct.